Welcome everybody to R.I.S.E 2012. My name is Kreps. I'm an independent web content developer here in Austin, Texas. And I'm going to be talking today about why and how to develop your website using WordPress. And this is all you're going to get to see me at the front of the room. I'm going to be hidden back here. Our agenda is I'm going to have about 10 minutes of PowerPoint slides, and then my intention is to go into doing an actual installation of WordPress and to start building a WordPress website from scratch and showing you the process. And we'll get as far as I can manage till about 3:15, and then I'll use the end of it for questions. I have cards up front. You're welcome to contact me offline. I think we need to be out of the room at 4 o'clock. And if you're wearing a cell phone or anything, please silence it. I'm going to be giving you just an overall overview of what WordPress is. I want to go over some terminology and a few examples, and then, as I said, demonstration. There are 3 reasons for why to use WordPress instead of some other system for creating a website. And I've been developing websites since 1993 using HTML, working with Adobe Dreamweaver products, which are terrific. We're the best available. I was actually developing online interactive content since 1987. I produced content for Prodigy before the web began. And so what I've gone through is a whole series of different markup languages that allow you to put content on a screen and make it interactive. WordPress is outstandingly effective for search engine optimization. That's the #1 reason to use it. It's won't automatically index your site, but it's very easy to optimize with certain plugins that I will demonstrate for you. And I just found that the sites that I built with WordPress come up much, much stronger in search engine rankings. I have searched for documentation to prove my point. I haven't found it, so take my word for it. I go to a lot of local meetings on search engine optimization and online marketing, and almost everybody there uses WordPress. So, the second reason is that it's quite easy to update your own site. And usually after I build a website for somebody, in 1 or 2 hours, working with that client on the telephone and sharing my desktop remotely, so they're up north, I'm down south, I can teach somebody how to create new pages and new blog posts in WordPress, how to upload images or create an art gallery, how to create links. And perhaps by the time we're done today, you'll have a good inkling as to how to do some or all of that. And then the third reason is that you will not be enslaved to your webmaster or held hostage by them. There is a huge community of people who use WordPress. In Austin, there's a very active WordPress meetup group that I would encourage you to check out. They meet twice a month. One meeting is for beginners, the other is more advanced, and I see faces in here people who have attended all of those meetings. They do fill up very quickly, so you have to register soon. But there's a huge community of support and a lot of tutorials online on YouTube. You can easily teach yourself WordPress if you want to do it. If you need one-on-one coaching, that's a service I provide, again, over the phone and with shared desktop. And this is the definition of what WordPress is that comes from Automatic. That's the company that creates and manages WordPress. It's a state-of-the-art publishing platform with a focus on aesthetics, web standards, and usability. And the important thing is that you can use it for both static pages and blog posts. WordPress began as a blogging platform, but now can be used as a content management system like Drupal or Joomla. It contains all the different elements. And anyway, here's some of the terminology that you're going to be hearing today. Pages and posts all can contain text, images, links, video, audio recordings, a little audio player. You can put advertisements on a post page or on a page. Terminology is post and page. A post is short for blog post. A page is a static page that you get through a menu. The main difference is that pages you access through a menu, and posts you can also access through a menu, but you don't put the names of the blog post on the menu, you put the categories in which the posts belong. And you can make up however many categories you want. Your category might just be blog, so you have a menu choice that says blog and everybody sees your posts. The most recent one will be at the top of the page, the older ones sink down. You can also access blog posts chronologically by recent posts or an archive of past posts. And WordPress also uses something called plugins. Plugins are like if you know anything about yoga, they're like cities, the psychic powers that are behind the manifestation. You sometimes see what they do. They may put up a form. Other times they'll do things that you don't see, but the robots that search the web will find so that you can get your keywords found. In some plugins do things like encrypt your email address so that spam bots won't see it. And themes are the skins that you put on a WordPress website. You can change the appearance as easily as you can change from going from a blue dress to a red dress. Here's an example of a theme and the basic elements of screen layout. And they don't always have to look like this. This is just terminology. In this case, the header is on the top. The horizontal menu is under the header. The main content area is on the left-hand side. And then there's a widgetized area on the right, which we call a sidebar, and it contains many different widgets. And the widgets can be a wide variety of things. So there is no one such thing as a WordPress page. The widgets might be text and images, might even be a little art gallery with teeny thumbnails that you click to see larger images. It might be a sign up here for my MailChimp mailing list, or it might be an archive of your blog posts, or a way of getting to your blog posts by a tag cloud, so that the posts that have tags, that when there are more of a certain tag, the word is bigger. When there are fewer of the tag, the word is smaller. There's all kinds of ways of getting to the posts. At the bottom is the footer. Normally that's where you put a copyright notice. You might also put a text menu to everything on your site, or a privacy policy, site index, a couple of menu choices. And I'll be installing a widget which you can see in the bottom just above the footer. It's a social media widget, and it will appear on every post and page that I create. Again, here's a comparison of pages and posts. They all contain the same elements. What's different about them is how you get to them, and that blog posts are dated. Depending on the theme that you use, again, the theme is the skin, the appearance for the website, the page date can be hidden or can be displayed. I had the dates on my website for a long time, and then I realized the content wasn't changing. I didn't need to change it. I just hid the dates, and now you can get to it through categories, and you don't need to see it through dates. It's a choice. By the way, I see people taking pictures of the slides. You're welcome to, but I have these up on my website at netingenuity.com. I have similar slides from a previous presentation and an 85-minute recording of this presentation given about a year ago. And once I've recorded this, I hope to get this presentation, a more current version of it, up on the website. And that's netingenuity.com. I talked about the sidebar, that it can contain all kinds of things from images, links, forms, galleries, text. And these are, I talked ahead of my slides, so these are the various things that the plugins can do. And it is possible to make a website be accessible if you're coding for people with disabilities, and WordPress Nobility is .org is a local national organization based in Austin that can give you a great deal of information on accessibility if you want to learn more. The themes are what control the whole layout, whether you have one sidebar, two, which side of the page the sidebars appear on, where the widgetized areas appear. In the sidebars, you can have blocks of text for each widget in the content area. The theme contains the background, whether it's a solid plain background or something with graphics or texture or gradient on it, or perhaps even a photograph, a whole picture on the background. Themes are very plentiful. There are thousands of them available, which you can search for and download and install for free. Many people like to use premium themes that usually cost around $50 to $80 that let you do more customization, and there are frameworks on which you can build a theme. I choose to not purchase any off-the-shelf themes, particularly not to get the free ones, which can pose a security risk. Sometimes there's malware in themes. One way to search for them is to see what the social media, how well they've reviewed them, if they're popular themes. That's always a safe bet. I create my own themes using a third-party application called R.I.S.E. It's the word artist, E-E-R. You can find it at artisteer.com. It costs $130, and what it is a WYSIWYG theme editor with which you can compose the layout however you want it, and then export it into WordPress. And it gives you a zip file that you then upload. I produce custom themes for people. A one-off theme is $100. Takes me an hour or two to produce. If you're using R.I.S.E. for the first time, I guess it would take you 5 to 10 hours to do your first theme, just because it's a complicated program and it can do a lot, and just learning the interface takes a little time. But it creates WC3 compliant themes, meaning that the code is approved by the World Wide Web Consortium. And some people poo-poo it. I have not seen any reason to avoid using that.
Sorry, how are you spelling it?
Artist, E-E-R, artisteer.com. Now I also use, when I go to the web, I'll show you another site. Artisteer will export not just to WordPress, but to Joomla and Drupal and just HTML or ASP. It's a very powerful system. There is a plugin for Artisteer called the Templateer, and it's like another $60 on top of it. And once you install the Templateer into Artisteer, the themes that it exports give you many more template layout page options, which I'll show you once we get into the demo. These are just samples of a custom theme that I've created using WordPress. You can see the variety. These actually look quite similar. I tend to favor header on the top, horizontal menu on the bottom, but you can see that the backgrounds can be extremely varied, the fonts. And Artisteer, since I produce most of these, has upgraded so that now they make it possible to do elastic websites that expand with the width of your monitor, so I'm starting to do more of those. The background, the sheet that forms the center part of the screen can be transparent so that it looks like one giant thing and doesn't have those wide borders on the side. There's still a few minor drawbacks to what Artisteer will let you do. For example, at this point, it won't let you import fonts from a third-party application like FontKit or WebSquirrel, but I suspect, in fact, I just communicated with Artisteer, and I expect that the upgrade will allow you to do that, and they're working on that. So the next thing I want to talk about is where to have your WordPress site. There is a difference between WordPress.org and WordPress.com. They're both owned by Automatic. WordPress.com is a site that hosts millions of free WordPress sites, and you don't have to pay for a host. You can just go there. However, if you use that system, they will very much limit what you can do. They don't allow you to use plugins, which, I mean, just don't even bother building a site without plugins. WordPress.org is where you will find the software, which is free to download and install on your own server, and the whole codex where all the documentation and forums and support for WordPress is. But I recommend using a third-party host that hosts, millions of websites. There are hundreds of them out there. There are dozens that are equivalent in that they give you unlimited domains, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited email addresses. The one that I use that offers all that unlimited stuff is HostMonster. And it comes to $71 a year. Usually it's like $8 a month, and they have a special where it's $6 a month going on most of the time. And I am an affiliate, so if you follow my recommendation, please use my affiliate link, which is hostmonster.com/track/netingenuity. And you can also find that link on my website. And if you sign up for HostMonster, this is what their website looks like. You log into the control panel, as I will have done to do the demo, and you proceed with installing your WordPress site. And once you go into the control panel, it looks like this. You want to go to the section called Software and Services, and you'll see a WordPress icon. You simply press that button. This is still PowerPoint, but when you do it, it will install your WordPress site, and we'll be doing that today. These are all the things I hope to accomplish in the next 56 minutes. And these are basically the steps that go into setting up the WordPress site. The very last one, the favicon, is that little logo you see at the top of your browser window and on the bookmark, on the tab in the browser. I've already put that into the theme that I've created before this meeting. When I install the WordPress site, it's going to come with the default theme that comes with WordPress. And then I'm going to go get the theme that I've prepared, which has the favicon built into it, and I'll be applying that to the site. I'm probably going to skip doing the email accounts because we don't need them at this point, but we'll go in and configure the settings, set the permalinks, install a number of plugins. I probably won't have time to install all the plugins I normally would, but I'll do a few just to show you what that's like. And then I'll build a couple of pages, set up some blog post categories, show you how to work with keywords, how to build the widgets that go into the widgetized areas wherever they are on your page, and set up a sample custom menu. So, okay, that's my last slide for that. So let me go out of PowerPoint and into the web. I have the Firefox browser open, and I've opened a few tabs with pages so that we can get through this kind of quickly. The first thing I'm going to show you is the site that I'm going to be replacing. There's a woman in New York who's a psychotherapist and a yoga teacher, Lynn Summerstein, and this is her old website. And she contacted me and asked me to build a new website for her in WordPress. We agreed that the theme would carry over some of the color theme, her logo, some of the basic elements so that it won't look like a completely new site, but it's not going to be an exact match either, and it will be completely customizable for her. What I did is I went into HostMonster, as I will do now, and installed WordPress, but I've already installed WordPress in the root directory, and I was going to do that today in front of you, but because her website is live and her domain goes to lynnsummerstein.com, we don't want to interrupt service to that. What we're doing now is this is her website in the root directory on her account in HostMonster, and she has a temporary address, a temporary URL, which we can get to the site through and not interfere with the site that's currently live at lynnsummerstein.com. And what it's comprised of is her IP address that stands for Internet Protocol. It's the ugly string of dots and numbers, and then her account name. So this is like lynsummerstein.com, and eventually will be replaced. And in order to get WordPress to recognize the temporary URL, I had to do something that took me about 15 minutes and I didn't want to do here, which was log into HostMonster, go into the control panel, and edit the MySQL database. And that's something that if it says, oh, I can't do that, you can call HostMonster. There are people who speak English. They're based in Utah. They answer the phone very quickly, and they will do it for you or walk you through it. Or you can call me, and I'm available. So anyway, this is basically a brand new virgin installation of WordPress, and it's in the root directory over here. Here is the HostMonster login. I've just logged into the control panel. I put in Lynn Summerstein's username and password, and the first thing it asks is, do you need help getting started? And I say, no thanks, I'm fine, and it takes me to the control panel. So I'm going to scroll down in the control panel and go to Software and Services, and where did they move WordPress?
What's that like?
Up at the top. I guess it's popular.
Right next to
I'm sorry. Site Builder. I'm sorry, I'm going, okay, got it. Click on that icon, and because I've already installed this in the root directory, just for demo purposes today, I'm going to install it into a subdirectory. So she will have 2 installations of WordPress on her website. And this is just for your sake. When we're done, I'm going to erase the one in the subdirectory. So I'm installing a brand new version of WordPress. If you had a WordPress website on WordPress.com, as somebody here said she does, you can go into WordPress.com, export it, and then import it into this. So I'm going to go with the latest version of WordPress, and instead of putting it in the root directory, I'm going to put it into a temp subdirectory. I'm going to click on the advanced options. You could skip this, and it would automatically create a login for you with the username admin and the title my blog. But for security purposes, it's better to change it from admin. And it's better if you're going to be posting, you may want your name or the name of your business to be the username. So in this case, I'm going to say it's Dr. Lynn Summerstein. And the name of the blog will be Dr. Lynn Summerstein, PhD, RYT, registered yoga teacher, which I'm also a registered yoga teacher at the 500 level hour. I teach integral yoga.
What kind of yoga?
Integral yoga. And here it's going to ask me for a password. I'm just.
You're erasing this, right? Because you spelled our name wrong.
Thank you. Where did
You put 2 M's in her name at the top.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am erasing it, but thank you for catching that. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And now I'm just going to do pass 1, 2, 3, 4. Because this we don't care about. And WordPress now will try to automatically have you install these plugins. I have not even touched Cache e-commerce. It's new. I don't know what it is. It may be great. I don't need this theme. And Whimsy app is a really interesting plugin that will turn your WordPress website into a iPhone app. Yes.
So there are other e-commerce plugins as well?
Yes, there are many. But I don't want to install that now, so I'm just going to say no thank you. And it's also trying to sell you some premium themes, which we don't need. I have to say I agree to these terms. I'm just going to check. Thanks to you, no typos. We got the password. It's going into the subdirectory temp, which doesn't exist, but this will create for me. And I'll say complete. And it's installing. You can practically hold your breath, and it's done. And it tells you where to find it. It thinks it's in the domain Lynn Summerstein temp. However, because the domain is going to her old website, that would not get us there. You would need the temporary URL /temp to get there right now. And it gives this information you can copy and save. You'll also be sent an email to whatever email address is set up on HostMonster. You'll get an email with this information. So for now, having just demonstrated the easy installation, I'm going to close this tab and stop working with the one that's in the temp directory and go to the one that's in the root directory. And actually, I thought I had put the favicon in the theme. Oh, I don't have the theme installed yet. That's why it's not showing. Welcome. There is a sign-up sheet here. And there are more chairs in the front if you can pull out. There are chairs if you want them. There's a stack of chairs in the front of the room. Okay, so this is what you would see now going to the front page of a Virgin WordPress installation. It gives you a home, which is a collection of blog posts, including an archive of earlier blog posts, and a sample page. And these are just automatically set up in WordPress. One of the nice things about the default theme that comes with WordPress, it's called 2012, is that every time you refresh the page, it changes the picture. I thought it changes the picture. Well, maybe it's every time you change pages. I don't use it often. To get to the dashboard, the WordPress user admin, I've already logged in. But what you do is you go to the domain name, or in this case, the temporary domain, and then /wp-admin for WordPress admin. And if I was coming here for the first time, what would have popped up would be a login window asking for my username and password. And I would have typed in Dr. Lynn Summerstein and pass1234. And that would have gotten me into this dashboard. So I'm now logged in. When I did this in the root directory, I gave the username as Dr. Lynn rather than Dr. Lynn Summerstein. So up here it's saying, howdy, Dr. Lynn. And this is where she could go in and edit her profile or log out. And while she is logged in, or while I'm logged in as her, looking at the front end of the site, there is an administrative control bar up here, which lets me go into the dashboard, into the administrative area directly if I wanted to jump to it. And if I was not logged in as Dr. Lynn, this black bar at the top would just disappear and everything would be higher up on the page. If I reduce the size of my thing, you can sort of get a sense of the layout. So the first thing you see when you come in is a reminder to use this plugin that automatics pushing called Jetpack that I'm just going to dismiss. And then it gives you an overview of what's on the site. And since it's a new installation, all it has is one page, one post, one category, no tags, one comment. Every page and every post can have comments that the public makes. They read, they look at the page, there's a box at the bottom of the page where they can write their comments. It's really good to get user comments most of the time because it involves engagement and community, and people may have links on it. You want to develop interactivity. A lot of people who are using WordPress as a content management system and not as a blog will hide the comment box on the bottom of the pages, and that's what I'm going to be doing for all of the pages on Lynn's site. I will be leaving the comment boxes on the blog posts, and this is entirely your choice. You can do it however you like. When people comment on your WordPress site, welcome, there's a sign-in sheet here, and there's extra chairs in front. When people comment, you can set it up so that the comments go on right away, or you can hold them for moderation, which is what I recommend. You also, unfortunately, will get lots of spam comments. And a lot of these are very innocuous comments. They're funny. It's like they say, nice blog, I Googled you, I found you, I like the theme. And you sort of wonder, why are they doing this? I don't understand the business behind it, but we will look at some plugins that you can use that will discourage spam comments. But like spam, email spam, it's just part of the territory. What's interesting is I've just logged in and it's telling me, it's kind of small here because I made my screen small. First of all, on the left is the menu that you do most of your work in. The tab that says plugins has a circle next to it with the number 1 in it. It tells me that even though I've just installed this, actually I installed this last night, one of the plugins that's there, and there are hardly any plugins installed yet, but it needs an updating, which is easy. You just go in there, you click update the plugin. And I'll also show you a plugin that will let you click as many plugins that need updating with one click. The basic way this works is each of the menu choices on the left, when you mouse over it, will give you a flyout window showing you a submenu where you can see all of your posts. You can add a new post, you can create categories for your posts, or you can create tags for your posts. And media, you can see a library that will show you any media that you've already uploaded. Media usually is photographs. It might be a PDF file. It might be a video. There's a variety of formats that you can put. The links are for...
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask a question? So if you have a video file, is that like a link to a YouTube or something,
Yeah.
or is there a player that you install?
You could upload it on your server, but I recommend putting your video on YouTube the way you normally would, and then getting the embed code and putting that into your WordPress page.
Okay, thank you.
Because you'll also drive a lot of traffic from YouTube. YouTube has turned into the second biggest search engine after Google.
And with that, if you're going to do any videos at all on YouTube, start by creating a channel.
Mm-hmm.
That way it's youtube.com/mybusiness. And then it's all in one place.
Right. Thanks for that suggestion. And so over here, likewise, we can see a list of all the pages, add a new one. Before I start adding any content, I want to do two things. I want to go to the plugins and start adding new plugins. And this is a little time consuming. I'm not going to do them all, but I'm going to do a few. The first one I'm going to do is Headspace 2. And there are many plugins that will help you with search engine optimization. I think this is the best. It's a toss-up between this and all-in-one SEO pack. And the SEO experts who I've polled on it tend to favor Headspace. So it found it. It found many other SEO plugins, and it's showing the ratings. And if I wanted, I could look at the details of this plugin before I install it. I could go to the website of the plugin developer. I could sort these results by the top rated ones, but since I know I want Headspace 2, I'm just going to say install now, and it's going to do it, and it's already installed. I'm going to activate it. And when I go in to create a new blog post or a new blog page, there will be a form under where I put the blog content for Headspace, and that's where I would put keywords and description. The next plugin I'm going to install, again, add a new one and search for it, is WL Encrypt. And this is one of many plugins that will help hide your email address or any email addresses that appear on the site, so that search engines won't see it. They will see a bunch of JavaScript or hex code, and they won't capture your address for spam. And so I make sure that it's activated and there right away. And so that's there. I know I also want to create a Contact Us page on this website, and for that Contact Us page, I'm going to want to have a form. So I'm going to search for a plugin called Formidable. Again, it's not the only plugin. There are probably a dozen or more plugins that create forms. but this is one I like. There's a free and a premium version. If you wanted to do fancy things, you have to pay for it, but I find the free version is good for most people's contact us forms. So I'm going to say install now. I'm going to activate this plugin. And
Can you just tell us the other plugins, even if you don't install them?
well, I usually use about 25 different plugins, depending on which they are. And frankly, I consider that somewhat proprietary, competitive knowledge, so I don't share it openly. I will certainly will leave tips and things like that. I know that Lynn is going to want to have a photo gallery, which I probably won't get to demonstrate installing today. Maybe I will. But for a photo gallery, I would recommend using the Next Gen Gallery.
Is there a plugin for promo codes?
I'm sure there is. I don't do that. I just can't recommend one.
Okay.
Next Gen Gallery. Okay, you see I put in Next Gen Gallery and it came up with 2 above the one I'm looking for. The one I'm looking for is developed by Alex Rab. And activate that. And
So if you're using Host Monster, you can put, you mentioned earlier advertisements, right?
yes,
Okay, you can't do that on .org, right? Or .com if it's on.
I think that's correct, but I don't use .com. I don't
Okay,
know.
so you, okay.
Yeah. But you can't use plugins on .com.
You can't.
Right.
Right, okay.
So right now, this is a list of all of the plugins that I have installed, and there are some that I didn't install. Hello Dolly comes with WordPress, and Jetpack comes with it, and I'm going to delete them because they get in my way. What Hello Dolly does is, in the administrative side of WordPress, it prints a verse from the song, and that was the idea of Matt Mullingwig, who lives here in Austin and is a developer for WordPress. But it gets in my way. So I'm going to delete those 2 plugins. I've put checkboxes next to them. I went to the drop-down menu and I'm applying the delete. It's going to confirm. Am I sure? I thought I was doing 2. Maybe I unchecked Jetpack. So I'm going to undo that. Now I'm going to get rid of, I guess Jetpack is activated, so it wouldn't let me deactivate it. I will deactivate it, and then I will delete it. A lot of people really like Jetpack, and I may start using it. I just haven't used it so far, and so I'm going to delete it.
And do you have to do this for every site that you host, or can you copy and paste files from the root into another site's root?
It is possible once you've downloaded the plugins to a local drive, you can FTP them over into the back end, but that's a little bit more complicated. But it is possible to do that through the outside of the WordPress administrator.
Easier.
This is a little easier. It's for beginners a lot easier, and but it is more time consuming. And Akismet comes with WordPress. It's a really, really good plugin, but and I may get to it later, it's important to use for stopping spam comments. Some other good anti-spam plugins that I use to augment Akismet is Anti-Spam Bee and Bad Behavior. And the way you would find those is just going to Plugins, Add New, search for Anti-Spam Bee, follow the installation things. And one
Bad behavior and what?
Anti-Spam Bee, B-E-E. I want to do share this. This is a plugin. Share This and Add This are very similar. They're competitive plugins. Let me just see which one, because there's so many. It's like R.I.S.E Pizza in New York. There's all these businesses with the same name. I've used this one, Share Buttons by Lockhart's, and so I'll install that. I'm glad to hear there's another New Yorker in here who appreciates R.I.S.E. I've been in Austin since '93. I should stop. Okay, so having these plugins here now, one thing I'm going to do is go into the settings for some of these plugins, and there are different ways to get to the settings. Right now I'm in the list of all plugins, so it's kind of easy just to go to the plugin and then into the settings from underneath where the plugin listing occurs. And here it's going to show you the different size social widgets that this plugin will produce. And I usually leave it at the default. I like showing the symbols as opposed to just save and share. But what you'll see in a minute is when you click on this, it opens up a window which allows people to share, recommend the page to their social networks on Facebook, on Twitter, on Dig, on a dozen different networks, or to bookmark it, or to write a personal email to somebody saying, take a look at this site, it has something that will interest you. And the, let's see, I don't think I need to make any changes on these settings. So I didn't change it, but I'm clicking save anyhow. Now I want to go into some of the general settings. I've already put in the site title when I install the site, but I'm going to change the slogan to be psychotherapy and yoga, use your head and follow your heart. My browser just happens to remember because I had set this up in a test site yesterday, and my browser's remembering these words. And once, by the way, once I point the domain lynsummerstein.com to HostMonster, I will have to come into this login page and change the WordPress address from the temporary URL to lynsummerstein.com, and this is where you would go to do it. This is where I choose how the date and time is going to display, and if somebody were to join the site as a new user, the default role for them will be subscriber. There are 4 or 5 default levels that come with WordPress. I'm the administrator. You could give somebody a role as an editor so that they can add a section to the website, but maybe not change the theme, that kind of thing. So different levels of control. And then you save your changes. I don't think I made any changes here. What I will do is go into the reading settings. And this is where it sets when you go to the home page, do you see the latest blog posts or do you see a static page? And I will have it be a static page for the front page. And for right now, since I haven't created any pages, the only one I can choose is the sample page that came with WordPress. So I will have to go in and edit that sample page and turn it into the content that I want it to have. And there are some other defaults here that I just generally don't change. Now, another important thing to change is the settings for permalinks. And what that is it allows you to create pretty URLs, which search engines will recognize. By default, well, actually, it's changed. WordPress used to, by default, give you this ugly thing so that after the domain you would see $P equal in a string of numbers. What you want is to have the post name. If you create a post or a page, you want those keywords to show up in your URL and your address. So, and you have an option as to whether you want the year and the month or just the month, the year and the day. I usually go with the month and the name, something simple like this. And you can always go in and change it. Sometimes after you change your theme, you must go into permalinks and reset them. And I discovered yesterday that that pertained to the theme I'm using, so I may have to come back and reset the permalinks. Yeah.
So I had a blog on my old website, and I have hundreds of posts, some of which I want to have on my new site, so then I can actually just put them over and not have dates on them anyway, and there's no way to say that this is a site of...
Exactly. And it's in R.I.S.E that I set that I don't want the dates to show. So, okay, at this point I still haven't created any pages. So what I'm going to do now is go into look at all my pages and it's going to be just the sample page. When I mouse over this, I'm given a choice of trashing it, viewing it, editing it, or quick editing it. Quick edit doesn't let you do very much. So I'm going to go into edit. And this is the main creative space that you get to work in. And all of this text is what the sample page had. I'm just going to delete that to have a blank page. And if I had said create a new page, this is what I would be getting. It wouldn't say sample page, it would say be empty. I'm going to type in home, but for this theme, for this client, I'm not going to have the page titles appear on the page. So it doesn't matter what I write there, I'm going to hide it. Now, you have to give me a moment, please, to open a file. Lynn Summerstein sent me a Word document with everything that she wanted to have in her website, which makes her an ideal client. It's often really, really hard to get. Ideal, but also she gave me just like an information dump of way too much stuff, and more than she's probably going to want to pay me to put up myself. But what I can do is create the structure of the site, teach her how to build the pages and the posts, and then she can go in and populate it with as much content as she wants. What she wants is this image on the top of her site, and then this text. And I can probably show you if I go to Firefox. I have on my own website in a subdirectory of netingenuity.com/test, I have, oh, this isn't looking good at all. It looked better last time I had it, but I had, somehow the header got scrunched up. But this is what we're aiming for, which is the image on top, some quotes, the text, a picture of her, her license number, an image that will be linked to an organization she's a member of, more quotes. This is a bottom widgetized area in which I put some text, and so this would appear at the bottom of every page, and down in the footer is the copyright. So what I'm going to try to now do is to put the content for that home page on this page that I'm just editing. And so I'm going to take, first of all, I need to select select everything. I had some edits that I did to what Lynn sent me. I'm a copy editor and I just can't help. Let me just approve all the changes in Word. Okay, now I can copy this part of her text. This is all I need. And I'm going to put that in my clipboard and go in here, and I could paste it in here, but I don't trust Word. Word is filled with code that you don't want to put into your website. So what I just did is when I went in here, first of all, I want to point out that this editor has two tabs, a visual editor, which is a WYSIWYG editor, and an HTML editor. Here I could put the text in and it would just be text going, or HTML going in there. This, by default, the icons at the top of the visual editor is one line deep. The last icon, if you mouse over it, you'll get a tooltip, shows you if you click on it, you can show or hide the kitchen sink, all the other icons that they have there. And I'm going to click on the icon for paste from Word and put this content in there. Oh, and I see that indeed it picked up my comments, which I didn't want it to do. And so all I need is her text, and I'm editing it slightly in here, but now I'm going to insert it, and it just put this text in here for me. The page is created, but it is not, it has text. It doesn't have any pictures on it yet. And we haven't done the theme, so this is rough, and I'm just using the default template that came with the default theme. But down here, I can put page title and description that would come up specifically for this page using the Headspace plugin that I installed. And I'll show you in a minute, there are settings for the Headspace plugin where you can do global keywords and description, which will affect every page on your site unless you use this area underneath. So I'll say Dr. Lynn Summerstein, PhD, RIT, and I would write a description of what she does down here. I'm not going to do it at the moment, but I'll leave it. It still has not been saved. I could, this post has already been published. This is the sample post that came with WordPress, and which reminds me that what I need to do is change the address, the permalink for it. No, actually I don't. I'm going to update it, which would be the same as if it had not been published. This would say publish, and once it's been published, it lets you update it. And now I've updated it, and once that's done, I can view the page. I'm going to open it in a new tab, and what we see is the home page with the text that I just put on it, and the space to leave a reply.
What about like if you want to change the size of the font or the type of font?
That is all done in the theme. The controlling the appearance of the font, the size, the color, the family, the spacing between the lines, the spacing between the letters, that's all done in the theme. And so you want a theme that gives you what you want. Some themes will let you modify elements such as fonts, but not all of them. In the case of what I do with R.I.S.E, I need to create that in R.I.S.E. I export it into WordPress, and I'm just about to do that so you can begin to see.
Is that all CSS?
Yes, it's PHP, exactly. But the CSS that R.I.S.E exports, anybody who could edit CSS could go in and edit and never need to use R.I.S.E again. It's like using Photoshop to export a JPEG photo. And when I create a custom theme for people with R.I.S.E, I always, part of our business agreement is that they get the R.I.S.E file, so it's the master file, and then they could buy R.I.S.E themselves and make changes to it or hire somebody else or me again to tweak the theme further.
And this is all PHP?
Yes. And they're all WC3 compliant.
So you only need R.I.S.E if you actually want to customize the theme more than the way the theme comes.
Well, to produce a theme, you can go out and get a free theme. There are thousands of them available which you can browse for on the web and download and install. But then you will be limited to both the appearance and some of the functionality that is built into the theme that you get. With R.I.S.E, I'm just going to switch over to R.I.S.E now. This is the interface for it, and I can see here that this is somehow where the header got messed up. So I could go into header, and I could go to the position of the title logo and move it over here, and now it's going to appear better. Oops, I did it too low, but once I get it, I think part of my problem too is that on my computer my display is squished because it's on that. But now I would export it, re-upload this theme, and pull it into the site. And actually I may just do that since I just corrected what looked like a bad header.
It's easy to switch, like if you started off with a free theme and
Very easy.
have it, you can, it's easy.
I'm about to do that.
Okay.
We have the free theme there. What I'm going to do is save this site, save this R.I.S.E file, go to, oops, go to, oh dear. Sometimes R.I.S.E gets a little cranky, and it should let me export, and it's not going to. And what I will do is quit R.I.S.E, reopen it, and it will come back on its best behavior. But since I'm short for time, what I'm going to do now is go back to WordPress into the administrative area for this site and go to Appearance Themes and upload the theme that I had previously created and show you how that's done. So notice here that you can manage the available themes that came with WordPress. You could use 2010 or the one that it came with, or you can install a new one. And here, if you wanted to find another one, they give you can browse all the themes by all these categories and filters. But instead, I'm going to upload the theme, which I created with R.I.S.E. It's a zip file, and I'll just import it. So I'm going to go to Lynn Summerstein, and this is my most recent theme. You can see I've done a few iterations on it over the past week. And having selected it, I'm going to say install it now. And once it installs it, I could preview it or I can activate it. And after doing that, the whole site, instead of having that 2012 theme, will have the new theme. And that's where things get interesting, because I created this theme using the template here. Instead of having only 2 choices for the layout, the default and a 1-column layout, I will have about a dozen different template choices. And the dozen template choices I'll just describe while I'm waiting for this to install on the library's Wi-Fi. With the template tier choices, I could have a page that has a widgetized area at the top that might include a video or a slideshow, an animated thing, or a slider which has one story move off to the side, another one come in. You've probably seen samples of this all over the web. Or I could have text or a form or whatever I wanted in that widgetized area. And I could also have underneath that the main content, the text that I just put into the editor of the site. And then, depending on the template that I chose, I could then have blocks on my page, say 4 blocks, and each block would contain posts from a particular category. So for Lynn, she might have a set of posts about yoga and another set of posts about psychotherapy. And each set of posts would show a thumbnail showing the featured image associated with that blog post and an excerpt of the first few images, the first few words in the blog post. And then you could click on that excerpt to read more, and it would take you to the page that has the full blog post. And I hope that this upload doesn't take the next 15 minutes.
Do they usually take a long time?
No.
Sometimes they take a long time on mine. I'm thinking, is it something I've done, or is
No.
it just...
This normally doesn't take that long at all. In fact, I think what I may just do is stop it and then try it again and see. I suspect it has something to do with connectivity here, because normally this goes up very quickly.
So, R.I.S.E. and HostMonster, once you pay for the services per year, you have unlimited amount of sites that you can create and build, or host, or...
Yes. First of all, the $130 for R.I.S.E. gives you 1 year of upgrades. So generally they make you pay $130 a year because they change the software and you want to have the latest version. But they don't always have upgrades. So you could use an older version. And you can use it to create as many themes as you want. I use it for all the for dozens of sites. And
that's $130 per year, or just $130?
It's for a license to use R.I.S.E.
Okay.
Right. And
but only for the year.
Well, you can use it for as long as you want, except if they upgrade, they won't support it.
I see.
And also, I often write to R.I.S.E. saying there's something wrong with my theme, why is this happening? And I love that I get an answer, usually within 12 hours. I think they may be in England, I'm not sure, but I get very good tech support from them. And also, if you use the R.I.S.E., I recommend going to the template tier. And that's just a plugin that some guy named Bud Shrake, I think, Bud somebody has set up. What is going on? Oops. Well, all I did was chose this, and I want it to install now.
Does it have to be unzipped first, maybe?
No, upload the whole zip file and it does it for you. So but it, don't know why this is, maybe I should make sure I'm still connected to the internet. Yeah, it looks like I have a Skype connection. So,
But is there a way to create or edit themes without paying money?
is there a way to create themes?
Like if you already have a website,
Yes.
in essence your theme is completed, how do you translate what your existing website is?
You can create a website yourself if you can code from scratch, HTML, PHP, CSS. There's lots of tutorials on how to create a theme. And basically a theme is comprised of 4 or 5 different basic files. The themes that R.I.S.E exports are more like dozens of files, depending on the complexity of the theme. We finally made some progress, so it's been installed, and I'm going to activate this theme. And it's not going to look great all at once at first. First of all, the theme that I created has by default a sidebar. And on this theme, I wanted to have that as an option that I will negate on a page-by-page basis. But I think when I do her blog posts, that layout will have the sidebar. So that's why I wanted it built into the theme. And I think we're just having internet connectivity problems because activation is taking a while. Okay, now that it's the current one, it's showing a little thumbnail that R.I.S.E created that gives you a preview of what this theme is going to look like. And the first thing I need to do is to widget. I don't know why they want you to go to the widget settings, but I will do that. And then save the settings. I'm also going to go into menus and create a custom menu once I have more than one page. And
this theme isn't associated with any pages yet?
It's associated with the entire site.
Okay.
So now what I want to do is, first of all, while I'm on the widgets page, I'll just explain what we're looking at. The primary widget area is where any widget you put would appear in the sidebar. In this case, I'm going to be using some themes a template which will change the layout from the default to something that the templateer gave me an extra option to, and I'll get to that in a second. So there's like first, top, right, where I will be putting my extra code is in this homepage left widget area. And just bear with me while I do this for a second, and you'll see how it will appear. I'm going to cheat because I have this other site that I've developed, and I'm going to go into the test pages that I put on my server last night and pick up the code that I had put into. Actually, I'm not ready to do that. I can put the code in, but I haven't uploaded the image yet that this code will pull. So I'm going to go to the homepage left widget area, and I put a text widget in there. And I'm about to do that in Lynn's real site, but I want to get this text in my clipboard. And what this is HTML that calls an image and centers the image in a paragraph. So now that that's in my clipboard, I'm going to go into the Lynn's left page widget area, and there's nothing there. So I go to the list of available widgets on the left, and I'm going to grab one called text and drag it up to, come on, go on up. Well, if it's not going to, come on, it's not going to let me. Get it to where I can see this open. What did I do with it? I think it bounced back down here. So I want to drag this up here. Maybe just once I get it going, I'll just keep moving. You can see that WordPress can be frustrating. You know, It's very sophisticated, very advanced. I know what I'm doing, but it just isn't letting me put it where I want it.
You put one of those.
What I could do is put it into, I'll put in the first footer widget and then move it up. So I'm just going to leave it there and close it. So it's sitting there but not taking up so much space. And now I can get it up to this far. I think it might have something to do with the fact that my browser display is not normal. Now I can get it up here. And now I can click on this little arrow to edit it. I'm not going to put a title in it. I'm just going to put the code that's in my clipboard there. And I'm going to save it and close this.
Where did you get that code from again?
Okay. I had already written the code in HTML yesterday when I was staging this presentation. And what it is HTML that calls an image that I'm about to upload to her site. And I just want to show you that on the left, all these available widgets, there's an add to any sharing, that's from the plugin. If I wanted every sidebar to have that social media icon, I would drag this add to any widget into the primary widget area.
These came with the theme?
This comes with WordPress.
Okay.
And a few get added in because I installed the add to any plugin, and so now you have a few extra. But if you wanted your sidebar to display an archive of blog posts from past months, you would drag the archive widget into the widgetized area.
That theme, all the pages now on the site are going to be associated with this theme, but is that correct?
What?
Any of the pages now on the site will be associated with
Yes.
this theme. Can you have more than one theme?
You can only have one theme on a site. However, you can have different templates on the site, and with what the template here lets you do, you can customize the header and the background on each page.
Okay.
So now, having installed this theme, I'm going to go to the pages and go into the home page, back to editing it. And, okay. It's telling me that there's an autosave of a post that's most recent. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Over here on the right, I have a choice of all the templates available to me. And if I had just done R.I.S.E, I'd have a choice of a default or a one-column template. Because I use this with the R.I.S.E combined with the template here, I have all these different choices. The Magazine 3 is the one that I described before, where you can have a widgetized area, body copy, and then the blog posts by category. And if you go to the template here on the website, he has samples of all of the different layouts.
Does that come with R.I.S.E or it's totally separate?
It's totally separate. It's a plugin for R.I.S.E, and it only works when R.I.S.E exports to WordPress, not to anything else.
Right. Okay.
If you wanted your page to have multiple columns, I would use the multiple column template that comes with it. In this case, there's a little bit of a bug. Actually, in this case, I think I'm just going to use the one column template and save this page as a one column. It won't show the sidebar. So now, having done that, I'm going to view the page.
What's the difference between view page and preview changes?
It hasn't been saved when you preview the changes. That way, you may not want to save every time you make a little change. You might just want to peek at it and make sure it looks the way you want. One of the great things about WordPress is every time you save a post or a page, it saves a version. And you can go back, if you make a mistake, you can revert to a previous version. And if the previous versions are not showing in your WordPress admin area, they are not showing right now, you go up to Screen Options and you check Revisions. And I also am going to check Discussion because I want to be able to hide the comments on this web page. And if I wanted to hide other things that I don't need to show on here, like I don't need the WL email encryptor stuff, I don't need custom header stuff, I don't need this, so I'm just unchecking it. And now I've reconfigured the word, what shows here, and it's going to show me every revision that I've made so far every time I've saved this.
So if you push view, does that save it?
Uh,
If you push view instead of preview, does that automatically save it?
no, you must update to save it.
Okay.
And what I could do too, this page has been published, but if I wanted to unpublish it, I could go into edit and change the status back to draft. Or if it was a blog post and I had the dates showing, I could write my blog posts and set them to appear a week from now. So then I can go on vacation and know that all my blog posts are showing, but that they won't appear until that date arrives. Or if I wanted one post to be above the other, I could fake it by giving an older date to a post that I wanted below. There's also a plugin that I like to use called WP Sticky, which allows you to designate a post as sticky so that even if it's old, it will always stay at the top. My homepage is built that way. I have the blog post about why and how to build your website in WordPress as a sticky that's always at the top. If I put something new on, it will always show up underneath that. And that's just how I, if I have time, I'll sit down and I may look at my website and say I want to structure it differently.
Is there any problem with subdomains here? That's
No problem at all. You could have them, but it's a whole nother thing I won't
Where's
get
the
into right
sticky?
now.
Where's the sticky?
It's a plugin
Oh,
that you would go in and install called WP Sticky, and it would then give you a panel on your right, which will not appear now because I haven't yet installed that plugin. But if I did, it would be probably in the Publish section. There would be an option here to have the post be sticky. And also the sticky only applies to posts. Right now I'm editing a page, and so there's no sticky page. All pages appear. They don't degrade in time. I was going to stop my demo at 3:15 and take questions, but since we're doing questions, I think I'll just go to 3:25 and see as much as I can do.
Can I ask a question about posting a blog? So how would you include a photo or a video in a particular blog post?
Perfect timing. I was about to install an image. This is a page, not a post, but if I was creating a post, the interface would be pretty much identical. What I'm going to do is upload and install an image. And I'm going to have it appear above the top of the text, so I just put my cursor in the visual editor above the text. And I'm going to go up here to Insert, Add Media. And I have yet to upload this image to the site. There are many, in WordPress you can do everything half a dozen ways. So if I had already uploaded the image going into my media library in WordPress, I could go to the URL where it was uploaded and link to it there. But in this case, it's on my computer, and I need to select the file. I'm going to go into Images, thank you, and I'm going to choose an image that I prepared, which is a PNG file. I'm choosing a PNG because it has a feathered effect, a sort of, you'll see it in a minute, a fuzzy edge, soft edge. Okay. And so I need a transparent background, which I couldn't get had I uploaded a JPEG. It would have given me white backgrounds. So now it just uploaded and crunched it down, optimizing it for the web. It's telling me the dimensions of it, and it's giving me a place where I can put in an alt tag. And alternative text is really important for you to have on your images because that's what search engines see. If people couldn't see their screen and they were using a voice reader would describe the alt text that describes the image. So in this case, I will call it, I might describe candles made from yak butter in a Lhasa temple. And the public's not going to see this, but search engines will see it. And I could then put in psychotherapy and yoga from,
Yes.
thank you, I will go in and clean this up later, and yoga Dr. Lynn Summerstein. So I'm putting keywords in there,
So it has SEO value.
yes.
And this text should be sort of in somewhat sentence form?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Well, if somebody were using a voice reader, you would want to give them a description, or you could leave it empty and it will, in the HTML, it will give you empty alt text, which is fine. It won't ding you. You just aren't taking advantage of the SEO. I helped a man in Austin at AndersonCeramics.com who lives in Austin and does beautiful custom backsplash tiles. Using this system, he so heavily populated his site with text and images that have keywords on it that just in 2 months after launching the site, you put in custom backsplash tiles and he comes up #1 in the country. So, but he put a lot of work into it.
If you already have all this content on your current site and we're going to switch over to HostMonster, does it all transfer over?
What is your site in now? Is it in WordPress? If it's in WordPress, you can export it. You don't have to do anything. Lynn Summerstein's site is not in WordPress, so I will be copying and pasting content from her old site into this new site. And, okay, so I've done this. I'm going to say that I want the image to be full size, and I'm going to insert it into the post. And
So what about caption and description? Do they have anything to do with SEO?
they could help if you wanted a caption would display under the image. So you might not want it to display, but the more places you can put keywords into the content of your site, the better.
So for description for an image, could you just have like 10 different keywords?
You could, but you might also get into trouble with Google for just, that's called black hatting, when you just put keywords in and you don't really describe the image. And if Google catches you for doing that, you can get severely penalized.
Is it a problem though with you saying the image and then having her name? And
I think it's fine. It's the homepage image. I could have written homepage for Dr. Lynn Summerstein, Psychotherapy and Yoga.
On the other pages, would you also be able to write that on everyone?
Well, what I can do is go into the settings for Headspace and set the global things, which will default to every page unless I do a specific keyword for a particular page.
And what was that again? Where did you go to do that?
In the Headspace settings. Headspace is the plugin for SEO. So now I've inserted this image. I haven't saved it yet, but I could preview the changes and see how this image is going to look on the site. And I see that I have a layout problem. The picture I just uploaded is too wide for the layout of the screen. So I need to go in and edit it so that it will be a smaller image. And this is just some of the back and forth tweaking that you have when you put up a new site till you figure it out. Once you know what size your images are, every image can be that size. And I swear this was working perfectly before the demo. But I haven't yet told it not to display the title of the page, so you can see the word home is now appearing up there. I'm going to go into Edit Page, and I'm going to do a few things. Down at the bottom, I'm going to uncheck where it says Show Title on the page. I'm also going to uncheck where it says Allow Comments. And now, having made these changes, I'm also going to edit this image, which I can do by clicking on it, edit the image, and I'm going to change the size of the image to, maybe I'll say 70% of what it is. This is just a guess.
It changes both
Pardon me?
horizontal and
Yes.
scales.
Yeah. And now when I update this, and if I preview it, let's see if this looks any better. Well, my header is still messed up for some reason. And why is?
It says home.
Yeah, I see. I'm wondering what's going on. Maybe what I'll do is update it. And now when I view the page, it better not say home. It doesn't say home, and the image is smaller.
What's this on? It's just on the other side.
No, this is actually a menu choice that's showing up. And because I only have one page created, it doesn't look like a menu. If I don't know that I'm going to be creating a lot more pages, but I will quickly, in the last 5 minutes, go in and create some blog posts and categories. So I'm going to go into posts, And first I'm going to add a new post. And for that, I'm going to just quickly go to her content, and she sent me some material that I could use. Okay, this is an event that she's going to have. So I'm going to copy that and go into the editor, plunk it in here. I may just take my chances with importing from Word right now because I'm tight on time and not go through the Word thing. And this will be Balancing the Heart is going to be the name of the blog post. And I do want to show the title. I'm going to use the default template. Let me just see where to go.
I heard then this column you're showing there, is that how it's going to go on the page?
No, I think that's just because right now, for some reason, it's not going to go there. It will look fine. And normally, the admin area doesn't look so scrunched. I don't know why it's doing this. I think it has to do with the projection. But I'm going to publish it. Well, I haven't assigned it to a category. So far, there are no categories except the default. So for this, I'm going to give it a category of yoga and add the new category. And now this post will be assigned to the category yoga. And
What's the difference between category and tags?
Category is a way of organizing your blog posts, and tags can be put on both pages and posts, and you can search. Tags are keywords that you may or may not display according to your theme at the bottom of each page or post, and you can have a tag cloud so that people can search by tag. Or in this case, what I'm about to do is put the category yoga onto the menu so that any blog post in the category yoga will then appear when you go to the menu choice yoga.
So it's just for posts. Categories are just for posts.
Right.
Whereas tags are for posts or
exactly.
pages. Okay.
And if I had taken the time, there is a place where I could insert appropriate tags into this administrative area. So that...
Can you have something published into 2 different categories?
Yes. You can have it in one or many, and it will just appear in those indexes. You also can have categories and subcategories. So this is published. What I want to do now is go to I'm going to go to the under Appearance into Menus and create a custom menu, which doesn't exist. By default, if I looked at the site, it would still only show me home because that's the only page. But what I want to do is add a new menu. I'm going to call this, just for more keywords, Lynn Summerstein I hate this, psychotherapy, and yoga. I can always go in and edit this. And that's going to be the name of the menu. And I'm going to say that the primary navigation will be the menu I've just named, Lynn Summerstein Psychotherapy and Yoga. And here is a list of all of my pages. I'm going to want the home page on the menu, and I'm going to want the category Yoga on the menu and add it to the menu. And in this case, I like the sequence, but if I wanted Yoga to come before home, I could slide it up and leave it there. Or I could have yoga be a sub-menu of home. But in this case, I want them both to be on the top level. And I'm afraid I will not have had time to create a Contact Us page. That was the next thing I was going to do. And I would have used the Formidable plugin to produce a form that I would then insert into the page. I'd have a Contact Us page, and that would be on the menu. Right now, I'm going to have to say this is as far as we get today. I'm saving the menu, and now when I go to the front end of the website, we should see home and yoga on the menu. So we've got 4 minutes, and I'm available for questions.
I'm wondering what you would say are some of the key ingredients to use for SEO value.
Think about what people are searching for. Get good keywords. And you can use Google AdWords has a tool where you can research the keywords you think you should use and see how many people have searched for that string of terms recently, and it will also suggest alternate similar keywords. And also, I recommend using phrases. Very few people search for just one word. They usually search for 2 or 3 words. Definitely use location, particularly if the business is location oriented. You know, I just did a website for a local window installer. So he needs Austin. He's not going to be doing it anywhere else. However, he's about to start franchising his business, so he may want me to change the website so that it has keywords having to do with business franchise and national interest.
So keywords and blog posts and alt
Right,
tags on the
right,
images.
Right, and use the keywords on the images, also on the page titles. When I got to the description of in Headspace, where you put the title, the page title, that will show up as the title at the top when you bookmark the page, or at the top of the website. That's also very important to keep for SEO. And beyond that, probably nothing ranks more than having incoming appropriate links from other sites to your website. So what you want to do is, a good way to do it is to give links to your network of associates and people who might want to link back to you. So if you have suppliers or members and that kind of thing, if it's a visual artist and they have their art in different galleries, link to those galleries, try to get the galleries to link to your client's website. You want a lot of incoming appropriate links. On my website, I have some links to a book that I recommend. It's quite out of date now, but it's getting top search engine ranking with Google, and I've got a lot of good advice from that. It's an old book, but the basic principles don't change.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
and what I probably should do is switch back to my slideshow and finish out. Let's see, slideshow. I have some.
May I ask a quick
Yes.
question? So with WordPress and HostMonster, could you insert places for advertising?
Yes. In your theme, you can insert places for advertising.
Okay.
And
Can you do that in R.I.S.E? Or?
Well, you create a theme with the templateer, and there are places where you can go in. Let me see if I can get to it now. In WordPress, in the dashboard, under themes, there's advanced options and theme options. And within that, there are places, it might be under advanced, where you can put advertisements, ad code down here. So this is the result of the theme providing this advertising space.
Okay.
So.
Where was that?
It's under appearance, theme options. So, yes.
I have 2 questions. Number one, is there a good resource to find out about how to make a WordPress site hack-proof?
Hack-proof. I don't know of any one resource. There's a plugin called WP Better Security, which is a free plugin, and it will quickly analyze your site and give you about 10 different suggestions of things that you can do to tighten your WordPress site. And WordPress is, as all sites are, is susceptible to hacking, and a lot of it is because of user sloppiness, like if you don't change the username from admin, if you use a weak password. But I do recommend to my clients that they use the services of a company called Sucuri, SUCURI.net, and there's a link to it from my website, sucuri.net. They have rescued my hack sites on a couple of occasions. You can go to sucuri.net and use their free tool to have them do an immediate scan of any website that you want. You can check your sites now, and they'll tell you if there's any weak points or if it's got malware on it. And if you want them to clean it up, for $69 a year, you can contract with sucuri.net, and they will scan your site every 6 hours and send you a report if there's any malware or problem found on it. And I often get notices from them because I've done something in the back end that triggered an alert. And sometimes there's a problem, and if necessary, I contact Sucuri and give a ticket give them a ticket, and they clean it up usually within the day. Sometimes it's taken a couple of days. But they give good live chat support. You can't get through to them by phone, but they were recommended to me by HostMonster, and I found them very reliable.
How did you spell it?
Securi. Oh no, Securi. SECURI.net.
Okay, and then what was the plugin that you mentioned before? That was a good answer.
WP better. What did I say? Better
security.
Better security.
Okay.
So.
What's the largest commercial site, that's running?
The New York Times.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And so.
And there may be other larger ones. That's
so
just the one I know.
you make some comments about using WordPress for a commercial site instead of just a blog. Is there a good resource? A good
Any theme you create or find. I mean, as I said, I like creating original themes, and many of the sites that I build don't have any blog posts on them. And if you go to my website, you can see samples of the sites I built. They're just basically brochureware for small businesses, and they only have pages and no comments, and there's no need, you might have a contact us page where people can write you a message, but there's no need to have any blog posts on it. You can use it entirely as a content management system.
Well, if you want to have a lot of articles on a commercial site, would you use the blogging approach?
It doesn't matter.
Or would you make them static pages?
It depends on how you want to organize them. If you want to group them into categories, I would have them be blog posts and hide the dates. And then you could reach them through yoga or psychotherapy or subcategories of those. So, yes?
Is there any way, say you already have a WordPress site and you want to try a new theme, I know you can preview it, but I mean to go ahead and create one without making it live, or what's the
You can install WordPress in a subdirectory like I did at the start of this demo, and then upload the theme to that test WordPress installation. And it's also possible in the general settings under privacy, when you're developing a site, if you don't want it to be findable, you can mark it as keep it hidden from search engines. You can also, in HostMonster, password protect the directory so that people can't get into the site until you remove the password from it. So I'm going to end and let people go. We have to be out of the room at 4, so I'll start packing up. But please take my card. I'll be happy to answer questions while I pack up, and please contact me. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Can you put shopping carts and PayPal on?
Sure. Let me just stop my recording.
And so,
Give me just a second, please. I want to stop the recording.